What's going on, everybody? It's AG here. It's time for my latest bracket breakdown. I'm going to be filling the NCAA tournament bracket. I'm going to give you everybody's seeds 1 through 16. We've had a little change up today as we had 3 games that kind of impacted the tournament seeding a little bit. I'll be giving you an update at some point throughout this week because there's going to be games going on, and also some of the smaller conferences are starting their conference tournaments this week. So we'll have some, official automatic bids being sewn up this week. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. First off, the 1 seeds. All right, so there are 3 locks right now for the 1 seeds. Auburn, Duke, and Houston are all for sure going to be 1 seeds in the NCAA tournament, I think. And then you've got 3 teams vying for that last spot. Florida, Tennessee, and Alabama all trying to vie for that last spot. As of right now, I've got Florida. All 3 teams have pretty good arguments, but it'll depend on who makes a run in the SEC tournament, who beats each other throughout, But these 3 teams are for sure locks. I think Auburn's for sure number 1, Duke for sure number 2. Houston could be 3 or 4, depending on if one of those SEC teams goes on a run. But as of right now, these are the 1 seeds with Florida in there. 2 seeds, we've got Tennessee, Alabama, Michigan State, and Wisconsin. So you're going to have whichever one of those 3 teams does not get the 1 seed, they're going to be the top 2 seeds. Michigan State, I think, is pretty much a lock for the 2 seed. Wisconsin, I don't know. I couldn't find another team really worthy of being a 2 seed right now. So I think Wisconsin gets the nod. They lost today to Michigan State, but I think they get the nod right now over some of these other teams that just have too many losses. And then the teams that don't have that many losses kind of don't have the upside of wins that Wisconsin's got. 3 seeds, Texas Tech, Clemson, Iowa State, and Missouri. So if somebody's going to get that last 2 seed from Wisconsin, I think it's going to be one of these teams. Who's the most deserving? I don't know. Clemson's got the less amount of losses here, but as far as upside wins, probably Missouri has the best wins, but they dropped one the other day that kind of dropped them down, because if they would have won the other day, I might have bumped them above Wisconsin. But as of right now, these are the 3 seeds: Tech, Clemson, Iowa State, and Missouri. 4 seeds, St. John's, Kentucky, A&M, and Arizona. St. John's has the least amount of losses out of these, but they don't really have the upside wins, so that's why they're a 4 seed. Kentucky is kind of trying to drop themselves. I had them as that other 2 or 3 seed the other day, but they got the crap beat out of them the other day against Auburn. So they drop. A&M, similar situation. They kind of get manhandled by Florida. They drop. Arizona, another similar situation. They get manhandled. They drop. So besides St. John's, I don't think any of these teams are kind of a lock for a 4 seed. I think St. John's is firmly on the 4 seed line, but these other 3 could easily drop. 5 seeds, Oregon, Purdue, Marquette, and Memphis. Now, if any of these teams are going to move up to the 4 seed line, it's probably Marquette or Memphis. Oregon and Purdue, they've got too many losses, so I don't see that happening. Oregon and Purdue don't necessarily have the high upside wins, but they don't really have too many bad losses either. So that's why they're here. Marquette jumps up for me. Memphis kind of had a little bit of a scare against UAB today, but they ended up pulling it out, getting hot at the end of the game. 6 seeds, Michigan, Kansas, Ole Miss, and Maryland. So Kansas is trending down. They've been on a super losing streak as of late. Michigan kind of gets blown out by Illinois today, so they drop as well. They were another team that could be in that 4 seed conversation, but with that loss today, I don't see it happening. Kansas, they kind of have too many losses. I don't see them really moving up. Ole Miss, similar situation. Maryland, if they go on a run in the Big Ten tournament, they could move up, but pretty highly unlikely. 7 seeds, BYU, Louisville, UCLA, and Vanderbilt. Now, BYU and Louisville, I think, could jump up, probably up to even the 5 seed line. I don't see them getting much higher than that. Maybe Louisville could if they go on a run in the ACC tournament, but they probably have to win the ACC tournament to jump all the way up to a 4 seed. UCLA and Vanderbilt pretty firm here. I think Vanderbilt could move up a little bit. They're trending up. UCLA, though, I don't see them climbing much higher than a 7 seed. 8 seeds, St. Mary's, Georgia, Illinois, Mississippi State. Georgia really rising up. Same thing as Illinois. They're going on a run as of late. But Georgia, you kind of look at their resume a little bit. They don't have any bad losses. Their worst loss is Arkansas. And so everybody else that they've lost to is a tournament team. Arkansas might even be a tournament team. So they're trending up. I think depending on how they value their resume, they've done pretty good in quad 1 and quad 2. St. Mary's, they don't have a lot of losses, but they don't really have any high upside wins as well. So I don't necessarily know where the committee is going to rank them, because I think St. Mary's got 4 losses. But again, I don't know how high they'll put them because they don't have a lot of good wins, because Gonzaga is just not doing that good this year. Mississippi State fits in right here. I don't know. It's kind of a jumble of teams right here with like 9, 10, 11 losses that you kind of flip them either which way. All right, 9 seeds, we got Creighton, UConn, New Mexico, and Gonzaga. So I think everything we talked about so far is pretty much a lock for the tournament. Now they could creep slowly closer to the bubble depending on how many bid thieves we have, but even if we do get those bid thieves, I think these teams are firmly in no matter what happens. Creighton and UConn, though, they dropped a little bit for me, got jumped by Illinois and Georgia. Gonzaga, though, with the win over San Fran, they're another team that I don't know where the committee's going to rank them, similar to St. Mary's. I think that they'll kind of go hand in hand. If they rank Gonzaga high, St. Mary's is going to be even higher because they have multiple wins over Gonzaga. 10 seeds, San Diego State, Utah State, West Virginia, and Baylor. So this is where we get into the true bubbles. San Diego State and Utah State, I think, are locks, but this is the very cutoff right here for the bubble. So San Diego State, Utah State, and above are locks. Everybody else we're going to talk about here could be out of the tournament. So West Virginia, Baylor, and Utah State are part of my last 4 buys. So Utah State, even if they're getting close to that bubble, I think they're in. West Virginia and Baylor, though, they got to get some help here over these next couple weeks. They got to help themselves and win some ball games. All right, so Drake and Indiana on the 11 seed line. Drake, I think they'll be in even if they don't win their tournament. But as of right now, I've got them as 11 seed. So these last 4 here, these are my last 4 in. Boise State, Xavier, Colorado State, and North Carolina. Boise State, depending on how San Diego State does, Utah State does, if they can kind of up their resume, up their record a little bit over these last couple weeks, I think that'll help Boise State because they don't have a lot of losses. Indiana is helping themselves. If they can get 1 or 2 more wins, I think they're pretty much a lock. Xavier, Colorado State, North Carolina, though. North Carolina is a little different than these because they just don't have the bad losses, but they also don't have any good wins. Xavier and Colorado State, Xavier did a good job helping themselves the other day. Colorado State, it's going to depend on what their opinion of the Mountain West is. Last year, they let a bunch of the teams in. We'll see if that happens again. All right, now we're getting to the automatic qualifiers here. 12 seeds. Now, these are probably the only teams we're going to talk about that if they somehow didn't win their tournament, they might have an argument's sake for a bubble spot. UC San Diego, VCU, Liberty, and McNeese, but I think all these are firmly on the 12 seed line unless one of them somehow jumps Drake, but I don't see that happening. Yale, High Point, Akron, Lipscomb, all upset-worthy teams that could probably shock a 4 seed. High Point in particular, I've been impressed by. 14 seeds, Utah Valley, Norfolk State, Chattanooga, and Montana. 15s, James Madison, Towson, and Central Connecticut, and Robert Morris. Central Connecticut actually has, I think, the longest win streak in the country right now, so a team to watch out for if they get the right 2 seed matchup. 16 seeds, so Southern and Bryant would be in, and these last 4 here would play in the play-in game. Maurice, Southeast Missouri State, American, and Omaha. But as of right now, this is my current bracket as of Sunday night, but we'll see what's subject to change. I don't know. What would you change about this? What do you think about it? Who would be your last 4 in? Let me know. Comment down below. Make sure to like this video and subscribe.